We are going to talk about domain and range. This was one of the areas that we needed the most help on according to our benchmark. So let's fill in the information. It says I can determine the domain of a function by looking at the x values. And the range of the function by looking at the y values. If the graph contains dots, then the graph is what's called discrete. So these dots are not connected. So that means I have to list the domain and range. So I can just list whatever x is, whatever y is. I can look at the table for those things. But if the graph contains a solid line, then it continues on. And so what that's called is continuous. And I write the domain and range using inequalities. When given a function, I can determine the domain and range by using y equals in the calculator, and I can look at the table. All right, so this first one says determine the domain and range. So the domain is our x value. So write x above domain, write y above the range. And usually on a star question, they'll just ask you for one or the other. They don't ask you for both on the same problem. So that helps you be able to narrow it down, because sometimes they'll write range also as f of x. So you can write either one, y or f of x. So domain is left and right because that's our x. So this is our domain. We see how far left and how far right it goes. So I'm going to use a highlighter and highlight the x-axis. And then I'm going to put little markings, how far left and how far right. So it goes through right here. But how far would the x values go? Yep, that's -5. And how far right do they go? 3, yeah, this goes over to 3. So our domain is between -5 and 3. So the way we write our inequality is we put x in the middle because domain is x, and then we put our numbers. So left is -5, right is 3. Then we fill in the inequality sign. They're both less than. Yeah, because it's a closed dot, this is less or equal to. So make sure you put that on where the dot is closed. Are y'all remembering this? I hope. All right, let's look at the range. So, I'm going to write range right next to y. And I'm going to highlight my y-axis. So how far does it go on the y-axis for range? -7 is how far it goes down. And then how far up? 9, yeah. So we do this the same way. We list them out, least to greatest. We put y in the middle. So it's -7 to 9. And then they're both less than. But what determines the or equal to? The closed circle. This one is or equal to. This one is just less than. So the or equal to goes on 9. But this one could also be written in the same way, but f of x inside, like that. F of x is y. So make sure to include this also. Oh, y'all caught my mistake. Thank you. All right, I fixed it. Good catch. I was seeing if y'all are paying attention. All right, let's go to number 2. Domain and range. This is dots. So since it's dots, what am I going to do? So, list. Make a list. That's it. So think about how you could make a list. Make a table. Make a table of values of the dots. So we need to list out every single point. So let's see. Every single point. So x, let's start with this point. -3, -1. Now list out the rest of them. Okay. Y'all check me. See if I did it right. So we took a graph that had points, made it into a table of values. So the last thing to do is just make your list for domain. So domain is your x's. Range is your y's. So you make your list just by listing them out. So -3, -1, 1, 3, 5, 7. And put these little squiggly braces on it. Those are fun. And then list out your range, which is your y values. Okay, we can do that. All right, let's look at number 3. Find the range of the function f of x equals negative 9x plus 6, given 6 is an element of the domain. So we have a function f of x equals negative 9x plus 4. It says given x is an element of the domain. What does that mean? Yes, so x equals 6. It says find the range. So what are we finding? Y. So how do we do that? What do y'all think? We can use the calculator, right? Yeah, let's put in y equals. So we put it in, and then what do I need to look at? When x is 6, what is y? So how could I look at it? Yeah. So I'm looking at where x is 6, what is y? So y equals negative 50 would be our solution. Go ahead and do number 4 now. All right. Did y'all put it in? And did y'all get negative 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to put y equals negative 2. Let's look at 5. A jet ski company charges $25 per half hour plus $35 gas fee to rent. If you rent the jet ski for 6 hours, what is the largest values in the range for this situation? Okay. So it's 25 per half hour. How is that going to help us if we have 6 hours?
You're gonna have to 25
What'd you say?
times. 25 times 12. Half an hour.
Yeah, because it's per half hour. So how much is it per hour? Okay, so let's just change it. 50 per hour. Because we're dealing with hours, not half hours. Man, that's pretty expensive, right? All right. So we know how much it is per hour. We know how much the gas fee is. So how do we figure out the largest value in the range? So what it's saying is if you rent the jet ski for 6 hours, so 6 hours, cost, question mark. That's what we're trying to find. So in order to solve this, what do I need to do? Talk to your table groups.
Oh, you lost 15 times 6, right? Times
Yesterday?
6 333. That'd be 333. Oh, I'm from the range.
Oh my.
Shiny Quan.
Bye. For 6 hours, it's been out
I did it to you. How long did it take? Yeah, but how long did it take? The reading. 10 minutes.
No, we already don't finish the first page.
Okay, so I need a group to tell me what they did. Go for it.
Put it in the y equals
Okay, what did you put in y equals?
50x plus 35.
Okay. That's awesome. 50x plus 35. Okay, and then
So you can graph it. And then we went to 6.
6. So x is 6. The y, which is the range, is 335. Can anybody do it different?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how'd y'all do it?
50 times 6 plus 35.
Perfect. Hey, you can do all these problems that same way. So you can do it either way.
Easier. We didn't have to add. Put in the calculator.
All right, I'm going to pass out your assignment for today. We're just going to put that to the side for now. We'll come back to it. Okay, shh. The assignment for today looks like this. The front side is domain and range, and the back side is solving inequalities. Okay? You are going to get to work with someone of your choice.
Wait, like just one person?
I am going to call a small group, though.
Oh.